We are in the middle of purchasing my parents' house, and we have a lot of projects we're going to document here. But first, we need to get my parents into their new house. They're going to remodel the upstairs of their new house, and while they do that, live in the basement. But before they move in, my brother and I said that we would paint it all with a fresh coat. If you've painted or thought about painting on your own, I will show you some tips that will make things a lot easier. I painted over 50 homes and I've learned a few tricks along the way. So first thing I do when painting is remove the plug and outlet covers, along with anything that might get in the way of painting. I go through and sand all the walls and mask everywhere that I feel needs masking. Be careful when you're masking baseboard and make sure to leave a tiny gap between the wall and the baseboard. This will make it so when you pull the tape, it won't pull paint off the walls, which is always very frustrating. As long as you have a straight line, it will turn out very nice with that little gap between the wall and the baseboard. Once everything is masked and sanded, we start cutting in everywhere the roller can't get to. When you're painting up into corners, you don't want globs of paint right in the corner. So I always get paint on the walls first and move my way up to the corner so that there's less paint in the brush, and I'm not leaving excess paint right up in the corner because the paint will always bridge. And when you pull the tape, it will pull paint right off the walls.
And here's just a little bit better example of me scooting my brush up to the edge, getting all the thick paint off on the wall, and then there's just a little bit left on the brush that I smooth out in the corners so they don't bridge. And then just quickly wipe off any brush strokes, make it nice and smooth. So here's just a time lapse of the main family room, doing the corners up on the ceiling and the wall, going around that heat register. Just make sure that you get enough paint, you come down low enough on the wall to where the roller can reach, and the same on the ceiling, you come out far enough to where the roller can reach. The ceilings are textured, so they're just a little bit more work, but this is me cutting around the boob light. And the same thing here, just a nice time lapse, and you can see the contrast of the old color versus the new color. Okay, it's super important to clean out your brushes often, that way the paint doesn't dry inside the bristles. I've had these brushes for 10 years. Okay, we went with these 18-inch rollers, and it was so great. It's almost like they were twice as good as a 9-inch roller. Anyways, the trick here is to go nice and slow, go back and forth a lot so you can get it in the texture on the ceiling there. Make sure you have drop cloths down, though, every time you paint a ceiling. For all the married men who might need a little trick along the way, my wife thinks my painter's pants are way sexy. So, maybe you could do some painting for your wife, get some Dickies painter's pants, and possibly help spark some of that fire that may be missing after 15 years of marriage. Just want to make sure everyone gets something out of this video. I always like watching the transformation of two contrasting colors when I paint. We did 2 coats on everything, and we were able to get away with that over this dark color. And the most important painting advice that I can give you when rolling walls is to load up your rollers and get a nice even coat on the section you're painting, up and down until you've covered everything in that section. Then go back to where you first started, gently put the roller on the top of the wall, and do a nice even pull down so that the roller texture is always in the same direction on your last pass. This will give you that professional look when the paint dries, and you won't see weird roller lines, and everything will be nice and consistent along the entire wall. If you need to go back over something, just make sure your last pass is always a gentle pull down from the top. After I'm done, I usually always wrap up my rollers nice and tight so the paint doesn't dry and I can use them again for touch-up. Here's another great look at those painter's pants, and ladies, take it easy. I'm just trying to mask the carpet inside the closet here. We decided to spray the closets because they had a lot of shelves, and it turned out to be a huge pain in the butt. I still think it was the right decision though. The goal is to mask everything that you don't want paint on. The problem was that every step I took inside the closet pulled the masking off the carpet, so I had to remask the carpet multiple times, even while I was in there spraying. I think Dexter would be proud of my plastic work here. And here's me loading up my sprayer with paint. We went with white in the closets. Another issue we had was that my sprayer could not keep up this time. I never learned my lesson. When I loan my sprayer out to friends, it never comes back clean enough, which causes all sorts of problems, and this time was no exception. It's nice and tight inside these closets, and it's really difficult to not bump the walls or allow the spray hose to hit them. I always have someone hold the spray hose because it seems to have a mind of its own when it's fully pressurized. You can hear that my pump won't hold pressure. I'm sure I have a clogged filter or dried paint inside the line somewhere. I decided to just power through it because cleaning out the paint and trying to fix the issue could have taken quite a while. But I got really frustrated, and as my friends describe it, I got into paint mode, which is not my best side. I'll let you guys just watch and listen to my frustrations here. Hopefully next time I spray, I have a nice clean pump that works how it's supposed to. And here's the final walkthrough. I hope that it was helpful. We didn't pull the closet masking until the next day, and luckily there wasn't any paint on the carpet, which was my biggest concern. Anyways, let me know if this was worth posting. We have a lot of other projects that we have planned, and if this was helpful, I'll make more videos. I really like watching other people's home improvement videos. My production is not as good as many of those other ones, but I think I'll get better as I go. And I will definitely be doing an exterior paint video this year when it warms up.